in order to succeed, you have to look for the trick. If I'm on a platform and there's a rope here, but the platform's here, physics says you're going to swing over this way and never make it to the platform. So how do you adjust your movement to overcome the little gaps along the way? When you go to a competition like this, knowing you're strong enough, it's easy to overlook the little traps. To go, oh, I'm strong, I can do anything. Well, then you're going to miss the tricks. And so I usually go to competitions knowing that I'm not strong enough to get through it, because that mentality forces me to think about how to do everything with maximum efficiency. If I assume I'm not strong enough and find all the ways to be as efficient as possible, I'm going to make it to my absolute max and reach my full potential more than if I just assume I'm strong enough.
Underdog mentality.
I love the underdog mentality.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let me ask you, this might not be like a nerd thing, but we all kind of live through life and we try to accomplish different things. So how do you gain because all of a sudden you just broke down, kind of culminates or puts in a perspective of will, right? So like, what is your will to keep pushing? Like, what keeps you, you like triple, but there's something dig deep in you, right? What's your will that keeps you pushing through no matter what, right? Is that a really tough question?
I don't know. I mean, I like it though. Part of it is just, I think as a little kid, I saw the way my mom operated in life.
Whoa. Yeah, sorry. That was really weird. Like, I'm sorry about that.
They're plotting.
I know, exactly.
It was very normal in my normal everyday life to grow up working hard and like doing projects. So like a relaxing day off, we'd like move all the stones to rearrange the garden into like these cool little platforms and layers and plants. I don't know, I love the feeling that I get from eating what I thought I couldn't do. I think I sometimes get intimidated. One of my big challenges is I get such a great high from beating myself that if I'm about to do a set of pull-ups and I know that I beat my record last week, and I'm like, I don't think I can beat it this week. Like the thing I'm chasing in that workout is like, can I get that thrill of beating myself again? And if I'm not feeling strong enough, then that can be intimidating and hard to get started. And so what I had to learn was to chase the feeling of the burn. Because you can always reach a burn. You can always reach your challenge mark. And so if you're constantly preoccupied with like having to beat a certain number, you're not going to be at your best every day. But you can surpass your best for that day or reach it every day. So when I get to that, if I'm going for 40 pull-ups and I get to 31 and I'm like, I'm about to peel off, I'm not going to make it to 40. I'll just I'm uncomfortable. That's not going to help me get stronger. But if I get to 31 and I'm like, I'm not going to make it to 40, but I can sure get to that point where I'm trembling and my fingers feel off the bar. So chase that challenge.
It sounds like it's from everything you said. It sounds like being the best person you want. Because you want to be the best of you, no matter what, no matter fear, no matter what you want to. If you accomplish that, being the best person that you are, then you're ultimately satisfied. Did I cover that pretty good? So tell us, you stuck double, right? So you have all steps. What has been one of your best stunts that you actually were building? Because you've done a lot. I mean, you've done DC, you've done Marvel too, yeah. So I was actually on Stephen Amell doing, Ninja Warrior. I don't know if you saw him.
I sure did. I was there that day.
Yeah, so they didn't use that question in a minute, right? Before Christmas, but how is it like getting some level of work on DC Marvel?
It's all very it's interesting playing two different fields one where I'm like the performer and it's my face and they want me to promote and get out there and post pictures and talk to everyone. And then doing similar things, you know, one's obstacle courses, one is stunts. They feel very similar physically. I'm doing all the same stuff, but in stunts, can't say anything. Sometimes I can't even say what I'm working on. Usually I can't say what I'm working on, who I doubled, what I did. So it is very secretive and it's very, to be very careful and tiptoe around. And luckily, like the thing that I take the most joy from stunts or media is being able to push those limits, having a director be like, all right, we're gonna have you do this. And going, well, that's not a thing that's possible. How are we gonna do that? And then just like working together with my team to be like, all right, well, how do we make that happen? How do we make this impossible thing happen? And the way like the rigging team, the riggers, I don't know if you guys know, but in stunts, if we're playing a character who flies or who gets punched and goes flying across a room, we wear a harness with a couple different types, and there's a rope called tech line. It's like an 8-inch thick. It's really thin, but super, super strong. And so it'll go from me to a pulley, probably to another pulley, down to a rigger or a machine. And so if I want to take off, we have to work together. They have to see my timing, and I launch, and at the same time, they have like the 250-pound guy jump off the ladder and ding and fly. Or sometimes if it needs to be more powerful, they have a ratchet, which is like a compressed air tank, that they'll hit a button and it goes flying. Very jarring or feel very graceful, depending on what your character is doing.
Right.
I asked out of time. What was the question?
So your experiences, has it been more favorable on the DC or the long side? But I know it's been secretive for you. You know, which one is like, I enjoyed that one over this one, or are they not all the same?
I mean, they all have such different fun components.
Okay.
They probably got to do bigger and more fun things on Wonder Woman than on and Supergirl. Yeah, I've done a lot more with DC than Marvel. I worked on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a lot. So I played one or two characters on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then doubled a bunch of bad guys and doubled Bobby, Adrian Wilkie for a little while.
Absolutely.
So random story. I once got stuck up a fake tree on the set of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They were shooting a scene on the other side of the stage, and there was this like really big tree. And you know the trees that have the bark that just like sticks out, and you can really get your hand around it, but if you pull, the bark peels off.
Yes.
This was a plastic tree, and it looked just like that, but none of the pieces would come off. So when no one was looking, dressed in costume, in character and everything, I shimmied up this tree about like 20 feet high, and then heard them call action. And I just froze because like it needs to like sliding down the tree. I was stuck there, and as soon as they called cut, I started sliding with it down immediately. Action again. Please don't fall on anyone. But it was fun. I got it.
That's really awesome. So what got you into study? What got you into the world?
When I was a little kid, first I wanted to be Xena, Warrior Princess. She was my
High five to you, man.
Yeah.
High five.
Yeah.
You wanted to be blonde, you wanted to be
I wanted to be Xena. I cut my bangs and like braided my hair like her, and then I went out in the backyard and started working on, you know, the trick where she runs up a tree and does a backflip.
Absolutely.
Well, I did not know that she was on wires because I didn't know wires were a thing. So I fell on my face a lot of times trying to do this flip on a tree in my backyard. I made it around a couple times too, which came in handy later and stuff. So I had to do
So
that.
that's accomplished the
It's kind of
feet, face.
Yeah, I'm very good at learning how to falling safely. The most important skill, kids, adults, if you can just take a lesson on how to fall safely, will protect you in so many areas of your life. Everyone should learn how to fall safely. But it gives you the freedom to try so many more things too. I know I can try a lot of things that I may or may not be capable of doing because I can bail out and fall and learn safely. It makes life very fun.
So you were saying how see how to put it. That was you got into. So how did that transpire to?
Yeah. So yeah, I was just out there mimicking Xena and Buffy, sidekicking trees and everything. Got into Alias when I was in high school, and those were kind of the shows that really inspired me. Also, Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers. I was like, those are the people that I want to be like when I grow up.
So you're a nerd. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, majored in aerospace engineering for a year. Switched to theater. So it all comes together eventually.
Right.
But yeah, so after that I switched my major to theater. I've been doing circus gymnastics since I was 6. Competed in gymnastics for I don't know how many years, and then pole vaulted and I got a scholarship to college for pole vaulting. And was majoring in theater. And went to see an agent in Washington, D.C., so it's near where I lived. I brought her my resume, not realizing that I printed out the wrong one. I made a resume for the circus when I was in high school. And so I brought this acting agent a circus resume. And she just scrolled through it and was like, what is this? Why are you here? Do you act? You should be a stunt woman here. And like handed me a post-it with a stunt guy's phone number on it and like literally shoved me out the door. And I was just holding this post-it wandering onto the sidewalk being like, of course. And so I met this guy, his name is Johnny Becker, and he was really nice. He happened to be in the area and actually gave me a ride home that day because I had taken the train into DC, had dinner with my family and explained to me like how stunts works. And he's like, yeah, the actors usually don't get to do many of their own stunts. They do a little bit, but like the big stunts, they usually have stunt doubles. And I was like, well, yeah, I want to be an actress. Yeah, I want to, but what if I were an actor and I didn't get to do the action? I was like, well, that's not really me. Like, I want to do both, but if I have to choose, I want to be the hero, like, doing stuff. And so, at that point, he gave me all these directions of, like, here's what you put on a headshot, on a resume, here's how you make your stunt reel, here's who you send it to. So I finished up my last year of college, graduated with a theater degree, and moved to LA, started taking all different kinds of martial arts and parkour and rock climbing, which is like all I ever wanted to do anyway. So when I was new to stunts, some people were asking me like, oh, like how long are you going to give yourself to make it? And I was like, I don't understand this question. Like if I end up homeless on this week, but I get to keep training with all these stunt people and just learning all the coolest skills in the world, like I'm good. And that's what I want from life. I just want to learn all the skills. And then to be successful in stunts and basically get paid to do the things that I've always dreamed of doing in cool costumes and have some fulfillment for me, like that's all I can want in life. That's everything.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. So did you ever, because you said you want to be this superhero stunt person, did you ever kind of mimic yourself or try to be like Jackie Chan? You know, so Jackie Chan he does all his own things and he still shows up and broke a couple bones here and there. And, so.
He's broken a lot of bones. Yeah. No, Jackie Chan is definitely my idol and role model. I want to be just like Jackie Chan. I'm not a scientist. But yeah, I had a pet pig who I named after his partner, Samuel Hong. My pig's name is Samuel Hong. She's a super athlete, just like, I mean, she's not as skilled as Samuel Hong, but she could jump onto a bed this high. She was a very impressive pig. I told her that she had a lot of pressure on her because she's named after a legend. She rose to the top.
So I know you guys see Supergirl, Agent Shield. Did you get a chance to watch? Also, did you watch your scene and like, oh, that was actually me right there? Did you get some like fuzzies? I remember something.
Yeah, those are always fun to watch. It's always interesting to see how things are cut and what parts made it and what parts didn't. I had this one scene on Wonder Woman with the Amazons where mini Wonder Woman, her name is Lily, she's adorable, she was 10 at the time, really tiny girl. They had in the Amazon race. It's like a triathlon. They're about to get on the bars, and she goes through this tiny tunnel. It's about this big, yeah, about that big, about 12 feet long, and she has 2 wire rigs where she does a flip on the wires and the riggers guide her into the stove. And then they unflip her and take her to the other side and put her in a different wire rig and pop her out. So it's like she dives into it and pops out really quickly. This was made for a tiny 10-year-old to go through. And right before we shoot, they were like, Jess, we need you to pop through this hole. Right. There's like, surely this is a joke. That can't be a real thing. I don't think I can get through that tunnel. And they're like, no, figure it out. Oh.
I'm serious.
They were totally serious. And so the stunt coordinator like rigged this little tiny rope swing on the outside so I could kind of grab the rope and swing into the hole. But it was grippy, so we put down cardboard inside so that I could slide a little bit. But even like full length, if I zip in there and my arms are through, my feet still aren't sticking out the other side. So I had to get a ton of momentum, shoot through, put my heels on the end, and then pull with my hamstrings just enough so I could get my fingers and shoot the rest of the way out. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this fast enough. Like, that is literally just that's not humanly possible. But we worked it out in about 10 minutes, and I popped out so quickly I beat the rest of the Amazons all the way around. And then my friend Dana, who actually was Zena's stunt double when I was a kid, is the first one around. She pops around, and I'm there when I'm not supposed to be because I got through too quickly. She bumps into me and almost knocks me off the platform, but her reflexes are so quick that she reached out and caught me, spun me back around, and then jumped onto the bar. So it was one of the most epic moments. It was like, I just got hit and then rescued by Zena and accomplished an impossible feat on Wonder Woman. And as we were doing this whole thing, it was like, there's no way they could see this in the shot. Like, I don't know why they need you to do this. Like, no one's going to see it, and in the movie, you don't see it at all. But I know that it happened. And if you look really close and you freeze frame when Lily pops out of the hole, you can see a set of feet coming in behind her, and that's my feet.
Nice. All right. Her feet got cameo. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Let's make sure that we get to the crowd. It's about 20 minutes in. So I want to make sure you get the crowd into it. So if you guys have questions, you can line up right here.
Sure.
Absolutely. You guys can line up right here and first come, first serve. Don't go too hasty getting in line, okay? Go ahead.
If you were to give someone a piece of advice, what would you say?
Okay. If I were to give any one piece of advice for training, expect things to feel impossible and just know that that's normal. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that it is impossible. It just means that things feel really hard at first, and that's just part of the process. So if you try to do a pull-up and you don't even know, like your muscles just aren't even firing, that's fine. Don't be surprised. Find progressions, find drills. There's so much good information on YouTube. Do your research and find the way that works for you, and just take great joy in conquering the things that feel impossible.
That's awesome. I know diet works too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, certain things you actually eat. I know I cut out sugars, bread,
That's hard.
sugars, bread, and alcohol and juices. I think that's the water. But no, that's pretty good.
Can't do that, man. Can't do that.
Well, it's for me, that's why I said will question, right? So it's like trying to figure out that will for yourself. And so if you have the willpower to just drop that stuff, then you can accomplish anything, right? It's just mind over matter. So I get a little bit philosophical. Yes.
Okay. Well, some of my favorite stunts were on Wonder Woman. Some of them were on an old show called Leverage, which they're now redoing.
I love, so you did
A double back.
that, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I figured that. Yeah, that was something. Sorry, got a little excited.
I related to that character a lot. So an adrenaline junkie.
She was. Did you like hanging from, like, her character loved to hang, it
Oh,
was,
everywhere. I mean, my house is literally a giant thing of hot lava. It's all the rock behind the wall, like tiny things hanging from the ceiling. I'm much more comfortable upside down than upside up.
that's pretty awesome.
My favorite costume?
Awesome question.
Myself. I like dressing like me and being comfortable. It is fun to be on set and have them give me random things that I would probably never choose to wear in life, just for a change. But I'm pretty partial to sports bra and a sport. It's just my favorite thing to wear.
Minimalistic.
Yeah.
Very
I
minimal.
like the fabric that's in the way. I have a pretty strict testing process for any clothes that I'm gonna wear. There's a bunch of kicks that I have to do to make sure that it's not gonna split the pants, not gonna tear the skirt, whatever it is. If I can't do a split easily and flips, not straight, I'm not doing it.
It sounds like you definitely need to stay in LA because it gets too cold around other places.
Oh, can't do that. That's my friend.
Anybody else have any other questions? Yes, sir, buddy. Come on.
Are you going to another movie?
Oh, almost definitely, but I never know when. I usually get 1 to 4 days of warning when they'll say hey, are you available on Tuesday? And then I find out if I'm looking for a day or a week or 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Pretty adjustable.
So how long, before you to the question, is your six, is that the right word to use, on set typically very minimum, or is it like a long period of time, time on set?
I've had a few jobs where I was on set for less than 3 hours, but most of the time it's more like 12 to 15. My longest day is 19 hours. But
No sleep.
I mean, sometimes you can kind of spot in the corner of your temple or something, but it depends on who your stunt coordinator is. Because most of the time, as stunt double or stunt performer, it's our responsibility to make sure that the actor is taken care of. If they're going to do any of the action, we will make sure, I bring an extra pair of knee pads, elbow pads, spine pad, anything that I might possibly need, I would have a set for them as well, so that I can help coach them on their movement and help keep them safe with whatever they're doing. I always want to support the actor and be able to do as much of their action as they can, and then be there to back them up if they haven't been trained in gymnastics for a while,
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. You coach them and take the hits all at the same time. That's pretty cool. Anybody have any questions?
I got one. What's your diet consist of?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's been a long process of refining it. So much of diet for me is psychology. How can I make it feel comfortable? Because I've gone through phases in life where I was too restrictive and then felt deprived all the time, and then would yo-yo into overeating, and that is stressful. It causes weight fluctuations that are not super healthy. And so what I found that works best for me is picking out what is the food behavior that is most damaging to your health right now. Pick one little thing and eliminate or replace it. And so over the past 8 years or so, I've taken a very gradual approach to modifying my diet, refining it. In the fall, I found out that I was gluten and dairy intolerant, which meant now I'm very restricted in what I can eat. But the way I phrase it to myself, I don't feel that way. So most of my diet now is, most of my meals are a giant bowl of dark leafy greens like spinach or kale with probably 2 servings of protein, 2 to 3 servings of cooked vegetables, and a sprinkling of brown rice or beans or something carb with it. I wouldn't say that I'm low carb. My meals are low carb because I love having protein bars as dessert, which have plenty of carbs in them. But I'm pretty low sugar. Um, yeah, it's pretty. But I've pretty much eliminated desserts for the most part. Um, yeah, and it feels comfortable now because it doesn't feel like a cage. If your diet feels like a cage, you need to rephrase it in your head. Because for me, if I feel too restricted, I'm just going to rebel and then it's going to go poorly.
Here's some very good points about that. It's funny how athletes spend time in like they like cookies and cakes and all that stuff like that to rejuvenate themselves, stuff like that.
Well, it is important to make sure that if you're training hard, that you get enough calories. Because if you're under eating, it's going to slow down your metabolism like crazy, and then you'll either rebel and swing back and forth, or be malnourished and not be able to build any strength. So it's always balanced, making sure you have enough, but not too much. But that's why it's been really important in my journey to get good at identifying hunger and fullness signals. Oh, most important rule for me is I don't eat artificial sweeteners. I always look for sucralose because that's one of the big things that disconnects you from your hunger and fullness, especially anything that says appetite suppressant. If it suppresses your appetite, it's disconnecting you also from your fullness signals. So you get words that knowing when to stop eating. And it's so important to be in touch with, like, when am I physically hungry? When am I emotionally hungry? And what's the difference? Actually, that's one of my biggest tips for sticking to a diet, whatever your diet is. If I'm craving something that I know is not part of my diet, like I don't eat ice cream. If I'm dying to have a bowl of ice cream, I just have to journal for 5 minutes before I can have ice cream. Because inevitably, I'll journal and be like, this is dumb. I'm not having any feelings. I just want ice cream. Maybe let me, okay, let's think about it. Did it bother me when this happened? Did it bother me when this guy said this thing? And it made me feel like this. And then like I start crying and then there's teardrops all over the page and I journal for 20 minutes and then I'm like, I'm gonna go play outside. And then so it's so interesting for me how emotions can feel like hunger. And it, like, I have to force myself to journal if I want to see the difference. And seeing that difference, like emotional hunger is so much stronger than physical hunger for me. Like I can miss it if I'm physically hungry, but if I'm emotionally hungry, I'm like, oh my god, I'm starving. You're not starving for ice cream.
You don't need
That's
it.
an emotional trigger. Let's process this a little bit. But if it's a rule for me, if it's like you can't have ice cream, then I'm gonna rebel. If it's a rule of like you can have whatever you want, just journal first. Like let's think about like how are you gonna feel if you do this? How are you feeling right now? Once I can acknowledge that, then my real physical hunger comes back into balance.
Just to kind of piggyback on what she's saying, so a lot of times there's a difference. It's a difference in understanding feelings and thoughts. So make sure you establish feelings and use feeling words like mad, upset, angry, happy, sad, stuff like that, and then explain afterwards. Because that can help you kind of distinct the differences and help you go through your thought process. Because when there's a noise and when somebody says, I feel, and a whole explanation behind it, I'm like, no, tell me what's a feeling word? Because that can understand where you are then. Just kind of too big, sorry. It's like going to psychology and learn stuff like that. Yes.
What's one sport you've never played but you would want to play? Or what is the goal you have for the next year for you personally?
Those are 2 tough questions.
Yeah, I have so many answers. Well, the 2 sports I'm most afraid of are soccer and basketball. I feel like those are scary for ankles and knees. So it's not necessarily something that I have a desire to do, but I feel like I should challenge myself in that way. I've been working a little bit on like dribbling a soccer ball while running, just to find that coordination.
And I could.
one goal is I actually would really like to be able to dunk. I've always wanted to improve my vertical jump so I can flip higher, but dunking would just be like a really cool random skill.
So how close are you?
My best, I mean, right now, I'm not my best. I think I'm at like 29 inches, well, which has me like 6 inches below the protection. So I have a long way to go. But my plyometrics have been suffering lately because I had a stunt where I got really quick smash on the ground. Sprained a bunch of the ligaments that connect the sacrum to the iliacus, so basically sprained the ligaments in the pelvis. So I haven't been able to do impact for a little while, but I just did a bunch of flips yesterday and felt fine. So almost back to normal, which means lots more jumping.
Tires, vertical explosion, boxes and tires would help you, right? Should help you get to be able to dunk. The only reason I'm a basketball fan, right? So my kid wants to dunk. I'm saying, okay, he's not that tall right now, so I'm working on building his calf muscles up where it needs to be. So we jump stairs and we jump tires and we jump actually. So I gotta get him if he gets vertically in boxes, he's able to explode from one spot and be able to land softly on the box with his toes, then he can have more explosion. And so that would actually
Box jumps. My
that would
best
help.
box jump is 55 inches. Random goal, I would like to be able to jump over a 5 foot tall person. Not there yet. I would totally hit them in the face, which is why I haven't tried. But yeah, if I could jump onto a 5 foot box, that would be a great goal. Over a 5 foot person would be great as well. Oh, I just got a vision. Like, I have a friend who would totally base this. If I could jump onto his shoulders and land standing up there, I think that's a beautiful thing. There's a second part to that question. Goals, right?
Goals for next year, for this year.
So many goals. I think this year I would like to beat my personal pull-up record. A couple years ago, I got 43 in one set. So I'd like to. That's so crazy. I want 44, and I want to hang on a bar for at least 5 minutes. I can beat that record. I thought about goals for this year. It's just been so much like rehabbing. So much of it right now is just like getting back all the skills I had before my surgeries. I don't know if you guys know, but last year I had surgery on my knee and both shoulders. I got pretty hurt on the floor here. And so now it's been about a year and a half since the last of the surgeries, and I'm back to fully healthy, but not back to full strength. So regaining skills, it's always interesting relearning something that you've learned before.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm glad you're actually getting back into the shape of things. Like, I know that's mentally probably tough, you know?
A little bit. One of the great things that I've learned from injuries is I always have to look at it as what is the new opportunity I'm going to have because of this injury that I wouldn't have with it. Injuries can be very depressing. This round, especially because normally I've had a lot of injuries, but if I hurt a shoulder, I take that opportunity to get really good at box jumps. If I hurt a knee, I mean, that's how I got into the sport. I tore my ACL in 2013, I think, and was like, well, I guess I need an upper body hobby. So I started working on pull-ups, and at the end of that year, competed and got 6th place in the regionals. So then just was fully addicted and kept training for Ninja. But this time, having hurt my knee and both shoulders, having them all be 6 to 9 month recovery periods, I was like, okay, well, here's your chance to find out who you are outside of athletics. Because my life revolves around training. If I'm not training for Ninja, I'm training for science, which could be climbing or martial arts or wire work or guns or who knows what, swords. So yeah, when like all of those are off the table, okay, what do you do now? Who are you? And so I got a chance to just like write down like what are all the things I'm interested in? I'm not doing athletics, what am I interested in doing? And I was like, okay, well, here's my list. Let me just start doing them in order of whatever inspires me most and see where it takes me. So I got a nutrition certification and a corrective exercise specialization. So I learned a lot about how to rehab my body and how to correct muscle imbalances so that I'm less injury prone in the future. So of course in dynamic neuromuscular stabilization, so I could learn how to breathe more effectively and improve my posture. Started studying sign language, which has been really fun. And learned, as I got healthier, learned to hang glide and free dive and hold my breath for 4 minutes. And I'm forgetting so many things, but it was just like an amazing year of growth in so many different ways. And I am actually really grateful for the time off. I'm annoyed that I'm not as strong as I was, but that's something I know how to solve. And this week I have time to train.
That's interesting that sharing because I was going to ask you. I was like, with all the stuff you do outside, do you ever watch TV? Do you ever watch
I
movies?
do actually, because a lot of my strength training stuff is really boring, and I don't have a great attention span. So I watch whatever show I feel like I'm watching, and do that while I'm on my bench press. I don't have any chairs in my house. I have a bench press that like folds down as a bench at my kitchen table, which is just the island. Or I move it into the middle of the room and do my bench press workout, which is boring. So that's when I watch TV, or I have a lot of recovery stuff to do, foam rolling, stretching. That's a great time to watch TV. So when I'm doing the boring stuff that I don't want to do, I entice myself to do it by being like, oh, now's a chance to catch up on 911. Or Mandalorian. So if I want to chill out and relax and watch TV, cool. Just do it while I'm stretching.
That's pretty cool. And I don't know how you can pay attention to watch TV while doing bench pressing, but you know.
Well,
I'm thinking about when I'm bench pressing, I'm trying to pay attention to this bar so I can get it up and get it back up and get it back on that rack versus what's on TV.
I do sometimes miss and have to like move on to something.
Oh, okay.
But also, it doesn't matter to me necessarily that much if I get 8 reps or 12 reps, because I'm going for the burn. So if I lose count because I'm listening to the TV, my muscles are going to tell me when I'm burned out regardless. So
That's your clock.
that's the clock.
To your clock. That's pretty cool.
Because there's no point in like, if I say I'm going to do 10 reps of this and 10 reps is easy, but I stop because I got 10, I'm not going to benefit from that nearly as much as if I totally lose count and get to 13 and I'm like, yeah, okay, great.
It's funny you said that. That's how I started doing my push-ups. Somebody told me I need to do like 30 push-ups a day or whatever, and I did 10, did them in sets. And I was like, this is not how I want to spend my time, because you know it takes time doing that. So I was like, let me just do as many as I can and burn out, and then I'm good. You know, I did them. So I went from 10 to doing 20 at the top 15, then I can do 20 at one time. Hey, don't judge me, okay? I'm just getting back into this life. Right? So yeah, so like being able to do 20 and stuff like that is actually a pretty good accomplishment. So
it caters to a short attention span as well. Like if I could do 3 sets of the same thing, I'm kind of annoyed. I'd much rather do 1 set to burn out. But you do benefit a lot from doing multiple sets, so I just change them a little. So if I have to do incline bench and then flat bench and then decline bench, I'm still doing 3 sets of bench. Although if I have a really good TV show, I'll do 3 sets of each of those and then benefit even more.
that's pretty cool. Everybody else have that? Yes.
When was the first time you realized that you were inspiring young girls and young women to succeed and to succeed at life in general? When was the first time that it?
Great question.
Yeah, I don't know which was the first time necessarily, but I've gotten a few messages on Instagram that just meant a lot to me. There was a little girl who sent me a message saying that she used to love swimming and gymnastics, but her friends made fun of her for having muscles, and so she quit. But after watching The Warrior, she got excited about muscles and was like, I'm going to do what I want to do. And so she got strong again. The first Halloween, where we got tons of pictures of girls dressing up as me. That was huge.
Yeah.
But there's a couple young ones that have messaged me questions about how to get strong. That I've stayed in touch with and seen on their Instagram as they grow and accomplish things, and like some of them are doing things on Ninja now that I didn't know were possible. And so yeah, it's cool to see like the little ones that were watching me when I first was doing Ninja, who are now competing with me, and I'm like, oh, you're strong.
That's pretty cool. Question. So, what was it like seeing the Stephen Amell do? Because I know that you were always talking when he was doing Arrow. They were, he used to do Ninja Warrior. You know, like he was like not right now type thing. When he first did it, like, so what was that like?
He kicked butt. He was great. He came and did the celebrity course. And he got past the warped wall and did the sand ladder. It was great on that. And it wasn't until the back half where we got like one of the crazy obstacles that it's just so technical. And he'd never done a moving headboard, but it's just something that takes practice. He hung up there and he's crazy grip strength. Did a great job. And he showed a lot of personality on the course, which I was appreciated too.
Did you get a chance to meet him, talk to him?
Very briefly. I forget if that was before I went to Canada for Supergirls. I think they were shooting Vancouver.
They did. After she left CBS.
Yeah.
And then they moved to Vancouver.
Exactly.
They left CBS? Really?
Well, yeah, because I worked on Supergirl all the time when it was at CBS.
I was just thinking like them going to Vancouver with his ability because CBS is heavily listed and known for Supergirl TV shows a lot, and so I thought moving to Vancouver was a better situation.
Oh, for the show it might have been, but
You
I
guys
live in Canada, so I stopped living.
Gotcha.
They brought me out for one acting role that I got to do to play my own villain, but she didn't have any skills. It was like she had this whole evil plan and like went to jail to steal powers from Lightning.
Damn it. It's been a while since I've seen that episode, but yes.
Yeah,
I was like,
his name is Greg.
yes.
But yeah, so she has this whole plan to like steal superpowers and doesn't take a single martial arts class. Like no training, no skills whatsoever. And so of course we got beat by Supergirl team.
That's funny. You guys have anything else you want to ask? Yes.
Hi, Jessica. How are you? Good to see you. So I'm a big fan of your work, and one of the things I enjoy about your work is all the commercials that you did. And I had a curious question. What was your favorite commercial you did with your muscle stunt work background?
What was my favorite what?
So I don't think can you come this way and actually say that one more time? Because that every time you speak, we get loud outside. No, it was outside. Literally, every time you said a pronunciating words you try to figure out, they spoke. Go ahead. Oh, you're fine. I don't think somebody turned that on.
What I asked is, what was your favorite commercial that you did when you started your stunt career?
I had a really fun commercial 2 weeks ago. A really unusual challenge. We can't talk about that yet. But it'll be a new Nissan commercial, so look for that online. Really commercial. I had a great one right before I started Ninja Warrior, where I got cast as a bride at a wedding. You seen that one?
Yes, and the callback
Oh my gosh! So that one happened a week, less than a week after I had the worst ankle sprain. I was on crutches, and I had to tape up my ankle. I had a unitard that had one footsie, so I was able to tape my ankle. And I was literally on crutches. I just came out and had to do about 80 backflips on that mattress because they were like, they don't know what order. It was a CarMax commercial, and it was like each person would be like, I feel like a mermaid at a swim meet, and then it would cut to a mermaid at a swim meet. We would say, I feel like an acrobat in a mattress store, and then it would cut to me. And so since they didn't know the order, we had to do all 7 lines of each different thing. So we do like 10 takes of each line 7 times. And I was like, I can't talk right now. This is gonna be challenging. But it was really fun otherwise. What's the other one? Oh yeah, the wedding one. That one was funny because for a lot of stunts and acting jobs, if you see my muscles, there's an immediate question of what sport do you do? And if I'm going for a role that is not defined by a sport, they don't want to see the muscles. And so I've gotten good at strategically dressing with like the right amount of like long sleeves that stand in a certain way. And so as I walk into my fitting, they're like, "We're so excited to get you." They really wanted to pass someone who didn't look like a stunt woman. And as I take off my jacket, they go, "Oh, well, maybe we'll do a shawl." And so it was just this big fight breaks out at a wedding over what's better, Androids or iPhones. And so everyone's fighting. So I got to play the bride and swing from a chandelier, which has always been one of my dreams, of course. I've never
Yeah, I've seen that commercial.
It's so good. But like, why are chandeliers not better supported? Like, if I jump to that, that's not structural. No. But I also got to play 4 other wedding guests. So like whenever the bride wasn't in the shot, they'd send me to get a wig and a dress, and I'd come back and like get knocked out in some other way. So those are always the most fun. Just like zombie movies where they just put a different outfit. Like zombies all look similar. So they can kill us and then make us someone else and kill us again.
Well, I want to say that what you do, I think you're the best female stunt woman in the business. I said you are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Speaking about that, that's a good note, because that's about time to wrap it up. Let's give her a big hand clap.
Yeah!
Listen, make sure you come out and check out at a table. There's actually photo ops. Make sure you come out and check out for photo ops and stuff like that, and make sure you get your swag signed. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a fantastic Huntsville Pop Culture Expo 2022.
And feel free to come do pull-ups on my bar if you want a little workout. I'm happy to share.
Well, you have a bar?
I have a bar. They asked me if I needed anything at my booth, and I was like, "Oh, I need a pull-up bar and an exercise ball, please."
She's next to Lou Ferrigno, and he's just sitting there.
Yeah.
And she's over there knocking out pull-ups. It's amazing.
Not a flex, actually.
You taught you how to flex? I was going to say, can I get a picture of you flexing? Straight to the, right to the right. Yeah, straight to the back.
Yeah, that way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, these guys, be ready for the next game.
You want me to take it?
Just tap it. What is it? Oh, yeah, it's locked. So no. It's locked, so take pictures of you when it's locked. No. Sorry, there you go. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. It worked for you? Yeah. No, so like, look, what you gotta do, look, tap it. And then it'll take it. Try one more time. Yep. Thanks, buddy.
Complete nerve